front of us. Just parked in a hole here. So Riti, I think because this cub is a little bit older, there's no reason for her to be overly protective. Let's have a look. I think she might steal this, not steal, but pull that kill out of the long grass. Let's see. It would be wonderful if she hoisted this kill for us. There. Now look at that. Let's see. Is it a? You know what I think it is? I just saw stripes. I think it is an Inyala, but it doesn't look like a full-grown Inyala. I don't see any horns. Let's see. Hold on. The mystery of the kill. I doubt Tristan would have got it wrong. Rib cages, but you see, it's not a. I mean, she's doing very well at dragging it. And there's very little of that kill left. The little cub's busy holding or pulling on there. Can you see that? It looks like an impala to me. It's so mangled, and there's just a rib cage at the moment. Look at that. What do you think, Wiem? Impala? Huh? Where are the horns now? They might still be here, so we'll have a look in the bush off to our left when we move. Okay. I wonder, just trying to have a look for him, if she decides to hoist that kill, where is she going to hoist it now? Let's see, we'll just see, sorry, I'm just looking around everyone. I want to see where I need to move if she decides to hoist that kill. H. Macy, have a look, that tree behind us, maybe that marula. Let's see. Let's have a look now. Just want to let Andrew know, because she's looking up at that tree. We've fortunately got a view of her. I wonder if she's... So H. Macy, you were asking, is climbing up a tree learnt behavior, or I think it's instinct, to be honest. I think a lot of it's instinct, but yes, they do learn from their parents, and the leopards, young leopards learn from their parents, and they experiment and they explore and they try their best to work on their agility, really, I suppose. Let's see what she does. I'm going to move shortly. I'm just waiting for that other vehicle to move. Okay, hold on a second. Let's try to get a quick view of this. Don't want to miss her going up the tree if she does decide to take it up. Let's have a look from here. This is a lovely little spot for us. Also trying to see if I can see the horns of this anywhere, this kill. See if I can see what it was. So last station, go again please. Yeah, AFM Henry, you can make your way in as a third. Just myself and Andrew here at the moment. Both animals still on site. There are obviously some tourists around here too that are enjoying the sighting with us. It's always nice. Like I say, I'm always happy when I see people out on safari and they get to enjoy these wonderful sightings with us. Ah, look, she's still just in front of us, Shadow. And looking around, she was looking up into that tree. Now, I wonder if her little injury doesn't hinder her a little bit. And perhaps yeah, see now the little cub's moving over there. So as I was saying, I wonder if that little injury doesn't prevent her from climbing as well as she usually would, hoisting kills into trees. Scott, you were asking why lions live in prides and leopards are solitary. Well, they form a different role in nature, Scott. Different predators. It makes sense for the leopards to move around by themselves. They're secretive animals. They're not animals that are out in open clearings as much as the lions are. They don't hunt together. So, like the lions hunting prides, different role in nature. You need to remember, every animal out here has a specific role, a specific niche or niche, if you want to call it that. Every animal forms part of an ecosystem. So it's vital that each one fills a different role. Otherwise, you'd have too much competition. It's interesting that she decided not to hoist that kill into the tree. I still can't see these horns. I'm now very curious. I want to solve this mystery. I'll have a look around here. But in the meantime, let's head back to Jamie in the Mara and let's see how her drive is going through the Mara. I know she was looking for buffalo. Let's see if she's got any closer.
I've lost her. Well, I mean, I haven't. That's not possible. But I've arrived at the place where she was, and I can't find her. So I can see some giraffe. How far could she have got in the time that it's taken us to get here? Pretty far, actually, by the speed she was moving. I'm trying to see if I can find some fresh buffalo dung. I can see the herd, so I can assume she's moving in that direction. They're the giraffe and the large trees that I was using as a landmark, and the buffalo herd is over there. So she's somewhere around here, but I'm proceeding with great caution because I don't know if she's perhaps decided to lie down for a bit of a rest, and I don't want to surprise her or startle her behind one of these little croton thickets. Where's she gone? Any ideas, anyone? I don't know. Joshua, who is our ranger for the evening, says, right, I agree. She's going to go that way. She's definitely going to go that way. And she'd made it quite far when we saw her being surrounded by the elephants. What is... That's a stump. The sun's not helping me. I think that's a stump. Yeah, it's a stump. There's some ellies. We are that much closer to the herd, and she's not back the way we came, which means she's getting there. She's getting there. The sun is setting, but she could make it. And if she makes it there, her chances of surviving the night are increased probably tenfold, because the herd will chase predators, whether they be hyenas or lions. They might not be able to save her, but they will chase them. Okay, girl, what was going to be your route? Which way would you go? Elephant watching me. Listen, have you seen a buffalo? I'm not after you, I'm after the buffalo. There. No, that's an... No, it's an elephant. Chem mix, yes, that's also possible. It's entirely possible. I thought that little elephant was a buffalo. It's entirely possible that she's lying down. She might have decided to have a rest. I'm essentially where we left her, which means she's either here, lying down behind one of the bushes, or she's still on the move. I imagine she's going to be pushing to try and catch up with that herd. Surely her instinct is driving her to try and get back to them before night falls. So while it is entirely possible she is resting, it depends on how sore she's feeling, how exhausted she's feeling. That's where she's going to want to be, and it's a long way. Okay. Sun's setting at an alarming rate. If it gets dark, it's going to be very hard for us to find her. No. Right it is, everyone. Right it is. I could safely say this is the first time I've ever followed one buffalo for such an extended period of time. There's elephants. I'm just focusing quite hard and making sure there's not a flick of a tail or something behind one of these bushes that I'm driving past. You wouldn't think it would be possible to lose something as large as a buffalo, would you? It is. It did take us quite a while to get here, though. Uh-oh. Megs, I'm sorry. You broke up a little bit there. Let me try stopping so you can try that question. Let me see if I can hear you. There we go. So, Monique, you want to know if she would possibly call the herd and if they would come back to her. She wouldn't call them. If she happened to be distressed in some way, obviously she is distressed, but if she happened to be being chased by lions, she might make a distress call that might attract the herd. Might. It's unlikely, though, at the distance that they're at, the distance away from her. She wouldn't call, and they wouldn't then come to her now without any particular reason. Just in the same way that they haven't waited for her to try and catch up with them. Oh, dear. She must have moved faster than I thought she did. Or thought she could, actually. She must be further along. Oh, and this weather's not going to help her either. The clouds... Okay, that looks fine. That looks absolutely fine. That's actually quite pretty. The clouds across that way are enormous. It's a new name for enormous cumulus clouds. Enormous clouds. Enormous cumulus clouds. That's not going to help her case. All right, come on. Can't have lost a buffalo. That's ridiculous. Not possible. Not possible. I don't lose follow lions at night and cheetah at night. Can't possibly have lost a buffalo.
Do you have service? I've got nothing.
Yeah, I've got 2 bars.
Okay. Will you just tell Chantal I'm out of luck now? I have no reception to communicate with you. Thanks. Oh, we're live. Hello, everybody. Sorry. I'm just discussing how I don't have any reception. So poor Sebastian is now trying to operate the camera, which he does very well, and then also communicate with Final Control. So this should be interesting, although my signal keeps popping back and forth again. Okay, perfect. So sorry about that. But how gorgeous is the scene? So we were struggling with comms, but I could not pass this opportunity up to show you the most gorgeous views. Isn't that incredible? And there's even a couple of buffalo. I think they were just to... Can you see the buffalo? Just to... I think they're to the left. I saw... There we go. Keep going left. Panning left. There we go. Can you see them? buffalo amongst the wildebeest. That's quite cool. I thought I saw a calf, and then I thought, that's a strange shape for a wildebeest calf. That's the biggest one I've seen. But that makes a lot more sense. A couple of cows just passing through their cousins. And it is a lovely evening, except the rain is about to be upon us. I think we've probably got another 20 minutes before the rain gets us. It's a big dark cloud, and there's lightning. Actually, come, let's have a look. See, it's so beautiful. We've got this big storm, and it just keeps getting wider and wider and wider. It's sort of covering a space of that. And in this section, there's quite a bit of lightning, but you can see this is where all the rain is. Let's see if we can get a little bit of lightning. Might be able to hear the rumbling of the thunder too. Look at that. Come on, lightning. All we need is one big flash. That's always one of the hardest shots to get. I find the city slickers that have enough time and can set up tripods end up getting the most spectacular shots from rooftops. I've tried. Not very good though. It's very difficult. I once got a picture on my phone, but that's about it. And that was a still from a video. Sneaky. And now there's not so much lightning, but it is big rains, and it's coming slowly. It's not racing towards us. But we're going to keep going on. We're going to head maybe down towards sort of Silas, which is in that section, and see if we can't find a leopard or perhaps a lion. Maybe we'll see some more wildebeest. I'm going to send you back across to South Africa with Byron, who's got a spotted cat.
We do indeed still have our beautiful cats lying in the grass. And Shadow has decided not to go back to the kill. The little cub is feeding at the moment. We can just see the tail curled in the long grass there at the moment. A bit of movement. There you go. See that? There we go. Chewing on the carcass. I think that's why that little cub was so intent on getting close to the kill while that hyena was feeding. No sign of that hyena again, or any other hyena. I think that hyena had its fill. I do think this is an impala kill, everyone, that they have made. We had a bit of a better look, and it looked like an impala kill. But you can see both these leopards have fed very well, so two very full bellies, which is great. Sun's starting to go down a little bit. It's not quite as hot as it was when we got here earlier. It's such a nice sight, and it's actually peaceful. You don't really have to say too much about this. You can just enjoy it. Now we've got that beautiful golden light coming through on that young leopard at the moment. Snazzy, no, you can't say they really shared the kill. I mean, these leopards fed on this kill this morning, and then when that hyena came in, they obviously moved away, and that, especially that young cub, you could see it was quite nervous of that hyena. Well, not nervous, kept its distance. It was careful and cautious, but that hyena got to feed, basically filled its belly and moved off, and then the leopard then stole the kill back, I suppose you could call it that, and dragged it away from where the hyena dragged it. So you can't say they shared, Snazzy, not at all. And however, when was it? A few months ago, a month or two ago, I think it was Ellie. She had a young male leopard feeding on a kill while a hyena was feeding on a kill, and that's very unusual behavior. It just shows, and I always say that to guests, and that you can never say something will never happen out here. So never say never. It's my tip of the day. But it just shows that things, unusual behavior can happen in the wild with these wild animals. No, Justin, you actually asked where was my tip of the day and where have they gone. I think maybe I should start it again. I'll think about it, Justin. I gave so many tips. Maybe I was running out of tips, but I think I'll think of something again. Maybe bring it back. Can see the flies bothering her at the moment. Using a tail and see the tail flicking backwards and forwards a little bit there too, trying to get the flies off of her. It's amazing how this sighting has changed. We've been sitting here from early on in the drive and we saw some feeding activity. Now I wonder if she didn't hear something behind me. I'm just having a look. Can't see anything for now. See how she just sat up there very, very quickly. As I was saying, the sighting's changed, and I suppose the questions have died down a bit in terms of what is going to happen, because the hyenas moved off, and when we got here, there was hyena feeding, female in the shade and cub trying to get closer. Now it's calmed down. The cub's getting to feed, female's lying in the shade, cooling down, still panting very heavily. As I said, that's obviously a way that the leopards keep themselves cool. They pant, especially with these very full bellies at the moment. There's a Koki francolin calling in the distance. There's some crested francolins calling too. Some wonderful sounds while we're sitting here. There's a spider hunting wasp buzzing around. Well, Vanessa, I wouldn't say those leopard tails are bushy. You asked why they're bushy and have a white tip, so I wouldn't say they're really bushy, but they do have that prominent white tip or white tip on the end, underneath the tail. Now, there are a few theories behind that. The one theory and the main theory is so that they can be made more visible, and that is especially with females, for example, when they're walking through the long grass and they've got cubs and they want the cubs to follow them, they can lift their tail and flick the tail, and it'll be easier for the cubs to see them and follow them through the long grass. The other theory is, again, along the lines of visibility and making themselves more visible. I've seen many times when leopards are stalking prey or moving through an area, if something sees them and starts alarm calling at leopards, they'll lift their tail and they curl their tail up. And basically what that is trying to make themselves more visible, showing that they're not a threat. They're just passing through. So leopards use their tails for that. The other thing the tail is used for, and probably the most important use of the tail, is for balance. Now that tail is very thick and very muscular, so they can use their tail for balance when they're climbing up and down trees. So that's the most important use of the tail. But that bushy white tip, I think it's mainly for visibility and because of those various reasons that I've given you. And it looks nice. Still a lovely cool breeze at the moment. Alison, no, I don't think that cub's tail's longer than usual. I think it's an average length for a 10-month-old cub. Don't think it's too long, not at all. I think possibly just the way it's lying maybe and flicking it back over the body. Again, I'm just sitting so that you can enjoy some of the sounds around us, and I think this is just such a wonderful, peaceful sighting. You know, it's not always. I don't think sightings always have to be intense and too much drama. It's nice just to enjoy wonderful, peaceful sightings like a female leopard and a cub feeding. It's nice and calm. Now I know the sun is setting up in the Mara, and they're a bit ahead of us, and Scott is sitting enjoying the sunset at the moment. So why don't we go across to him now and see what the view is like.
Hello everyone, and welcome on board again. Sorry, we've been in a low signal area, but there's been some really interesting stuff happening here, along with what is an incredibly beautiful sunset. Now, we still don't know where the fifth cheetah has gone, and basically one of them, who's calling more desperately than the others, headed off on his own, and now we don't know where the other three have gone. So I came back up onto an area of signal where we left the other three, hoping that we would find them, but no joy just yet. The other individual is heading back into this area, and I can't help but say, but I fear that the fifth individual from this coalition may be dead. Judging by the frequency of its calls, you can just see this one individual is seriously concerned about trying to find its other coalition member. I've never seen any behavior, anything remotely as interesting as this with these guys just yet. The little car in front is the cheetah researcher who's also coming to us. She's also in a bit of a panic. Basically, yesterday they were seen, all five of them together, in decent state. Now one is missing and three are limping very, very badly. Hello, Tatch. You would like to know if it's uncommon to have so many cheetah together. And okay, thanks, Helena. It is. It's fairly uncommon to have a coalition as big as five together, but it has been recorded in various parts of Africa before. But we must, certainly be grateful for the fact that there is a coalition this big in the area at the moment. You can possibly hear the other one calling out there. He's at about 11 o'clock there, Ferg, just to the left of that stump. And there we go. Now listen to this and watch this closely. You can see he's got a slight limp. You can see he's panicked just at the rate he's been moving, and he's been moving like this for the last half an hour. And it's a combination of this call that we're hearing as well as like that purring that you can hear now. And I'm only guessing that this possibly could tell us that this individual's brother is the one that's missing. We're not entirely sure how this coalition came to be. It could have been 2 brothers and 3 brothers from different families. Well, the good news is he is heading back towards the rest of the coalition, the other 3 members. Helena says they are walking down the road. Helen, are they heading down the main road? Okay, thank you. So we're going to carry on and follow along and see how lucky we get. I was planning on having an early night tonight, but I think we are going to have to try and follow these boys for as long as we can, because we're going to get some insight into some really, really interesting behavior. And who knows, maybe they'll eventually find the 5th one, take us back to his carcass if he's dead. The fact that this one, though, ran off calling in a certain direction led me to initially believe that maybe it was dead in an area and he was going to kind of go back and make sure. But maybe not. Maybe the fifth one just bombshelled when they got into whatever trouble they did get into last night. There was definitely some kind of an altercation. I'd find it hard to believe that 3 individuals would be injured hunting and a 4th one disappear. So they must have come into contact with either other cheetah, who knows, maybe lion. The injuries don't seem to be lion-like. I mean, if a lion gets a hold of a cheetah, you're going to see some very evident marks if the cheetah's lucky enough to get away.
The missing cheetah is his brother.
Yes.
Any genetic test.
Yes. Thanks. I just said that, Helena. Helena was just also confirming that the fact that this individual is searching far more insistently than the other 3 members who aren't really interested is a really, really good indicator that it is in fact 2 brothers that joined the other 3, and who knows how those other 3 were made up. Whew. Well, interesting stuff. I'm going to show you one last view of what is an incredibly beautiful scene in front of us. And once we've done that, we will be whisking you back across to Jamie on her adventures. What a magical evening it is, and what interesting stuff is going on out here. Well, you don't get a much better pink, cloudy sunset than that. I think it's fair to say. Enough of that, though. We need to keep up with these cheetah, try and work out what's going on, and send you across to Jamie while we do that.
Well, Scott keeps up with his cheetah. I've lost 1 buffalo with 2 broken legs, which I think is quite an achievement, personally. But we do have a really lovely view. A really, really lovely view. And I really wish I could drive in that direction, because it looks really nice there. And behind me, there are the deep rumbles of thunder and one of the biggest cumulus clouds I've seen out here. Oh well. I think at this point, as much as I would really have loved to have finished the story of the buffalo with all of you, I don't know where she's gone. I've completely lost her. I've been all the way up to the buffalo herd and back, and I can't find her. She must be lying in a bush somewhere. And, I mean, as much as I would be tempted to now check each and every single one, it's not going to be very productive. Oh, we're going to need to start covering soon. I assume it's raining back at camp. It looks like it is. I'm going to try and find us a road, so that at least when the rain is done, we'll somehow be able, because I don't want to be close to this lugger. I think it's going to turn into mush very, very quickly. We might find her while we start to search for a road, you know. That side is really pretty. This side is really rather not. Uh-oh. I know, Debbie. I want a happy ending for this dramatic story as well. I'm sorry I lost her. I just cannot find her. And I don't really want to go poking around every single bush in case we... Oh, here comes the rain. In case we actually find her and we're a little bit close to her. And as I said, I do need to start scurrying for a road. I'm sort of hoping there's one somewhere over there. Okay, we need to start our covering process. What we'll do for now is we'll send you back over to South Africa, to where Byron has the lovely Shadow and her lovely little one.
We do, Jamie. Well, good luck in the rain. I hope it doesn't rain too hard, that you get soaked again. I know the Mara team has been dealing with a lot of rain. I wouldn't mind some more rain. I don't think we're going to get rain for a while. It's clear skies at the moment. So we're still sitting with these beautiful leopards. They haven't moved too much. It's still a very peaceful, wonderful sighting. I'm enjoying it. I really am. Oh, that little cub is still just hiding in there. Now I think while all of you are with us, shall we see if I can try and put this debate or end this debate about what they actually killed them. I'm just going to drive in here where that kill was. Let's have a look quickly. Let's have a look. See if we can just find the horn. I do think it was an impala. I know some of you were saying it seemed like a rather large horns. So let's see, because but if it was large horns, the color of that carcass is wrong for a male Inyala. The male Inyala would be a dark color. Let's have a look here. Can you see any horns anywhere, Liam? Or isn't it back here maybe? I can't see any horns anywhere. I don't see anything now. We'll have to. Yeah, the horns are. It's an impala. There we go. Horns are right here off to my left. There we go. Those are the big horns. You can see the top of it is a big male impala that she managed to kill. That's all it was. Not all. You can see the fresh top of the skull. So that was broken off when that hyena dragged the kill. So there we go. Confirmed 100% male impala that she managed to kill. So possibly just a big male, and that's why it looked a little bit larger or in the long grass. If I park here, we might get a nice view of the cub feeding. Here we go. There we are. There we go. Nice view. The cub hasn't stopped feeding, trying to get as much of that meat as possible. Beautiful little face, look at those big eyes. Very, very cute little cub. It looks like it's doing very well. It looks healthy. So this female leopard has done well, even despite her injury, and we've seen she's still got that little limp. But she still managed to hunt and do very well for herself and feed herself and her cub. Spara, you say you enjoyed the seemingly peaceful interaction between the leopard and hyena, and it was. Spara, I agree. It was interesting that the hyena got to feed and the little cub was stalking the kill and look how full that belly is now. And this little cub was trying to get closer, and the hyena would kind of mock charge, I suppose you could call it, towards the cub. The cub would run away and the hyena would go back to feeding. Then the hyena left the kill, the cub ran, and the hyena ran back and chased the cub. So very playful for a moment, which was interesting. And like I said, I think this 10-month-old cub is probably safer than a obviously a 2-month or 3-month-old cub. And like I said, despite Karula's previous litter that was lost to hyena, very seldom. I'm just trying to think now. No, I actually think there was an incident on Londolozi last year, I think, with a hyena that came in and grabbed a leopard cub, if I'm not mistaken. But as I was saying, just chatting to one of the trackers, it happens seldom. I think a lot more seldom than we think. A lot of people are always very, very cautious and careful of hyena around leopard cubs. Yeah, of course they've got to be careful, but they tend to hide very well. They can climb trees well from a young age. As long as the hyena don't surprise them, they'll get out of the way. I wonder if Shadow is now going to go and feed. It's interesting though with leopards, even the females and their cubs, very seldom do you see the female and cubs feeding at the same time. Leopards like just feeding on their own. They don't like to share the food very often. But I have seen females and cubs feeding together before. So it does happen. And as you know, we've seen a leopard and a hyena feeding at the same time. Now let's have a look and see what this female decides to do. Does she want to hoist this kill? Now that we're losing a bit of light, that would make my day to see her hoist this. She's looking up into the tree. So get ready, everyone. Maybe we are going to see her hoist the kill. Now, Cape Turtle Dove, you were asking if Shadow doesn't take the kill into the tree, do I think the cub will take the kill into the tree? No. I can almost guarantee that won't happen, because that little cub is still very, very young, and chances of the cub deciding to take the kill into the tree, it's not powerful enough yet anyway to do that. So if anyone decides to hoist this kill, it will be Shadow. But by watching the female, the cub will learn, and when it's old enough and strong enough, then yes, then it will, but not yet. As the little cub just moved a bit closer to us. Sorry, it's still very, very hot here. I need a little sip of water every now and then. And it's really special. I mean, we've been lucky this afternoon. We haven't really needed to drive around very far, but there's been a lot going on here. And I always think, even if I've got guests, look, if it's first timers out to Africa, then you do want to see as much as you can, but you also want to appreciate each sighting. There's nothing I dislike more than racing from one sighting to another, because I think you lose out on the actual experience and a lot of animal behavior. I think it's important to sit and enjoy each sighting, take your time, take it all in, see what the behavior is. If there really isn't anything, then move on. But a lot of guests in the past with me, we've ended up doing just this, sitting, enjoying a sighting, and this would have been perfect. Great photographic opportunity. There was a lot going on. It would have been nice to see for any guest, I think. Now, James, you asking what is the most unusual kill I've seen a female leopard make? James, a python, a big African rock python. And that's got to be. Oh, have a look. Is she going to hoist it? Watch. Just keep looking. She's watching, looking up into that tree. Now she'll have to get a good grip first before she decides to do that. But she definitely looks like she wants to do that. Watch. Oh, go. Oh, look at that power. Amazing. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Hey? That was great. Do you see? And as I was saying, sitting and taking your time in sightings pays off, because then you'll get to see behavior like this. Now let's see how she's going to drape it over that branch. But did you see, that wasn't an easy climb for her. She really had to grab onto that tree, onto that marula. But she's done well now. She's hoisted it. Oh, that's such a lovely view of her. Ha. Perfect way to end off the afternoon, just as the sun sets. Well done, Shadow. That was... Lisa and Karen, you really enjoyed that. You were saying how amazing it was to see that. That's special. You know, you don't always see leopards hoisting their kill into trees. At times you either miss it because they do it at night, or you get there and the kill's already been hoisted, or sometimes they just feed on the ground. So to witness that power and to see her climbing up. Here she comes. Is she going to climb down now, or try and get more of that carcass up there? Or balancing better on the branches? But look how agile she is. Even with her slight limp that she's got. You could actually hear the claws digging into the trunk of that tree, pulling herself and the carcass up. I've got so much respect for these animals in terms of how powerful they are. Oh, now she's just showing off. This is fantastic. Oh, Laura Moore, you were saying you notice how they know where to place the kills in the tree and to balance them. They do. So that's why I think, you know, when you see these leopards looking up into the tree like she did earlier, is assessing, looking at the branches, trying to see where she's going to take the kill up. Now, and so they do. I mean, they definitely think about it before they just do it. And they also, if you see leopards jumping in and out of trees enough times, you can kind of gauge. They'll look for the easiest way up. So I thought she would go up this side of the tree because the tree is leaning slightly away from us. So it will be easier for her to kind of climb up this side as opposed to the other side, where it would then cause a bit of an overhang. So this was a bit easier for her to get up. More from this side, in fact. Proud Cat Mama, you asked how much meat can these leopards eat. Well, it depends. A little cub will obviously eat far less than an adult, but you know, they can probably 4 or 5 kilograms of meat in a sitting would be a lot for a leopard, I would say. Maybe a big male will eat a bit more, but yeah, on average between 2 and 5 kilograms, I'd say, somewhere around there. We seem to be having some technical issues in the Mara, I think possibly because of the rain. So you are stuck with VM and I and this wonderful leopard sighting. I suppose it could be worse. Hey, Viam? Viam's really happy. He always tells me before we go out that we have to see big cats. Viam's the biggest big cat fan I think I've ever driven. So Viam's happy he got to see a leopard. Are you happy, Viam? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Viam's happy. That's good. As long as Viam's happy, I'm happy. The cub seems happy. Roshni, you're asking why VM is known as the wildebeest. It's because Roshni is very territorial. Roshni, I'm only joking. I think the story in VM, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a few years back there was the calving season. So I just heard a noise back there. Calving season for the wildebeest, and I think wildebeest got to film one of the wildebeest giving birth. Is that right? And then it became his radio call sign apparently, and then the nickname just stuck. So that's where the nickname comes from. Nancy, you asked if I think Shadow hoisted the kill just because of the hyena. I think that's definitely one of the reasons, and probably the main reason. Now, Nancy, the reason these leopards hoist the kill is to keep it out of reach of other predators, so nothing can get to it. Now, we saw the other day that doesn't always work. Those lions climbed up into a tree and stole the carcass from Tingana, that big male leopard. But generally speaking, it's safe up in a tree. Nothing else will get there, bar a leopard. Hyenas can't climb, so they can't get up there to get to that carcass. So it's definitely to save the carcass from hyena. Isn't that a great image? Impala kill in the tree and beautiful female leopard enjoying the view. And I also think she's lying up there because it's probably a bit cooler to get away from some of the flies. There might be a bit of a breeze up there, a little slight breeze. That breeze that we had earlier has actually died down. But she'll be enjoying the view from up there. Must be honest, it's really thirsty work out here. Our water is depleting rapidly. So, it's so funny how nature works at times, and a lot of you have heard me say this many times before about just the being patient and enjoying a sighting, and I always say I don't like that term flat cat because these big cats will do something at some point, and you never know when. So I never use that term, but just sitting here and enjoying the sighting this afternoon, and I said it was so peaceful, and just appreciating the cub feeding and the female lying close by, and then she decided to treat us with hoisting the kill into the tree. That little tail. Can tell. I see that tail is a little bit more fluffy than the adult tail. Well, I'm glad she did hoist it into the tree, so she'll probably be able, her and her cub will be able to get every little last piece of that carcass. But both of them look very well fed, which is good. So I'm happy that they both fed on that carcass. They both had a lot of food. You can see that little belly of that youngster. Okay, well, it sounds like the Mara tech issues have been fixed, hopefully. Now, Tayla has got her spotlights out already. Let's go and see what she's trying to find.
Oh, sorry everyone, I was just having a conversation with Sebastian. We've got some very small little antelope. I'm not going to keep the spotlight on for them for too long. It's just too far away for our infrared to get them, unfortunately. But there's a pair of DikDiks just moving around. They've actually come out now out of the thickets where they normally hide during most of the time during the day. And they're coming out to feed, which is quite cool. So they use the cover of darkness. You imagine when they're that small. It's a bit on the tough side. And have a little listen. You can hear a Montaigne nightjar. You can also hear a couple of bubbling casinas too. They're blooping away. You see, just hiding away behind the trees. Now these little creatures are so small. Many things will try and snatch them up. And I'm going to just take the spotlight off them now. One of the many things actually lives in amongst these riverine thickets, which is quite exciting because we're looking for a leopard at the moment, but we have not found a leopard just yet. Now, we have a big problem because we have a storm coming from the south, and we also have a storm coming from the east at the moment, and northeast, and they're sort of moving in the direction we are, and I think we're going to be sandwiched together between two storms, which is not good. So we're hanging relatively close around camp. There's a lot of lightning going on. We don't mind the rain, but being stuck out in a lightning storm with all these aerials and wires is not always a good thing, and it's lightning not just on the one side, but it's coming from both sides. So what we're going to do now, I think we're actually going to turn around. We're going to hug the river all the way back again and see if we give it another squiz if we can find something. But it's been actually a really beautiful evening. It's just a pity about the communication problem, but I think Megan is still around. I was chatting to her just now, which was quite nice. But tomorrow I think is going to be quite exciting. I'm hoping. Where my lights gone? Thought I almost didn't have any lights. So we're going to explore tomorrow morning. We're not going to stay out tonight just because of the storm. It's too bad. It's really going to be a silly move staying out in this. So we're going to head out as early as we can, and we're going to go back towards the river area, and hopefully we're either going to see some crossings or maybe... Listen. That's exciting. Did you hear the lion roaring? That sounds like a big male. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sit quietly. I'm going to keep listening. I'm going to see if I can hear anybody responding if that's close by. Jamie sounds like she's zipped up in her tent.
I don't really have an update at all. I can tell you that we're driving towards the storm to try and find ourselves the main road. We've managed to find a little two-track, which is difficult to see. It is very difficult to see exactly where to go. So hopefully Tayla manages to find that lion that's roaring. I don't think I'm going to hear anything. I think we might have been a bit premature with the covers, given that it hasn't rained a drop yet. But maybe not. When it comes quickly. So at some point we will find the main road. I just did want to get onto it before the rain hits, because we're very, very close to call it a drainage system is basically its truest term, because it becomes very, very marshy when it rains in this area, and I didn't want us to get stuck off road where the soils become bogged down exceptionally fast. But it's creepy driving along here because all I can see is the lightning flashes and I can sort of see the road, and that's it. Craig's got a little window open on the side that he can glance out of every now and again. There we go, there's the window. Although it's now pretty much without any purpose. There we go. Well done, Craig. That's awesome. Sort of. So there you go. That's our little peephole. Because I really thought the storm was going to hit us soon. So we went full covers down to test out our new rain covers. It hasn't yet. I don't know if it's raining back at the Mara camp, but it would give me a good idea as to the exact gauge of how quickly this water is going to hit us, if it's going to hit us. And of course, because of the strength of the wind, thanks Chantal. So apparently it is raining there, which means it is coming. Apparently, oh no, the strength of the wind, it means that we have to have our cover extending over the windscreen. Now this rain cover has been a work of art, let me tell you. A work of art and a work of conflict at times, as we've all come together to decide exactly what it is we need to keep us dry, and more importantly, if I'm honest, to keep the equipment dry. But it does mean that your driving windows is small, and if you're Brent, I'm not sure how he'll see at all. I'm hoping as well that there's no elephants on either side, because I won't see them. All right. Well, it's very warm here in the Mara still. Oh, I felt I think I sensed the first drop of rain. I hope I didn't feel it. It has been very warm in the Mara, but of course not nearly as hot as it's been back on Djuma.
Yeah, well, I doubt it's as hot as it's been. Yeah, today it was 34 degrees Celsius. That's we've just gone into the 90s, I suppose, Fahrenheit. So very, very warm. And just change position slightly. Have a look at this beautiful little cub. Oh, now it sounds like. Now you won't believe this. Now we've been sitting here for quite a while, but about 4 minutes ago, we heard another leopard calling. The roar, or saw if you want, of a leopard calling behind us. It sounded like it was coming from Twin Dams area. I'm not sure. It wasn't that close to where we are, but it was close enough that we could hear. I also don't think it's that far, if that makes any sense. I would say it's probably about 400 or 500 meters away, somewhere around there. But these leopards didn't stir, so obviously didn't. Look how she's sitting in that branch, on that branch. And that's not the only thing, though. Sorry, that's. She's really just sitting in the tree. Now, that wasn't the only update. They've just managed to find the wild dogs. I know they were south of our boundary this morning, and they've just run onto Djuma, but we're losing light now, and now to try and get all the way across to that side to try and get to see wild dogs as it's getting dark, it's almost impossible. So hopefully they stick around for tomorrow morning, and we'll try have a look. Maybe we can find them tomorrow morning. But it's amazing, there's a lot going on, which is good. So as I say, hopefully those wild dogs hang around, but knowing the wild dogs, they're going to move through this property very, very quickly. Amazing how it's still very, very warm, but the temperature has dropped quite a bit, thank goodness. We just heard that leopard call again. Where was that? I'm just trying to think. now I'm torn, everyone. Do we, we've only got 15 minutes left or so. Do we try and go see if we can find that leopard, or do we stay here and enjoy? Quickly, send me your tweets. Tell me what you think we should do. If you want, we can try go have a look. I don't know where that leopard is exactly, but I don't think it's that far. We can try and find it, but we've only got a little bit of time, or we can just sit and enjoy this leopard in the tree. Beautiful view. Valerie, you've said we should stay. To be honest, my suggestion would be that we stay. Apparently most of you are saying we should stay. I think so too. This leopard, we don't often get to see Shadow and her cub, so I wouldn't be surprised if that leopard we heard is possibly Tingana. Let's see what she's going to come down. Now look how different. Oh, still that last meter or so they jump. But oh, she's picked up a little piece already. Thanks, VM. We've got the infrared on. There she goes. Now still got that little limp. As I was always going to say, with her coming down the tree, did you see how different it was compared to that lion that we saw the other day? I hope all of you got to see that. It was really interesting to see the lion up in the tree and him coming down, that big male lion, but he wasn't able to climb down slowly like she was. You see, she almost turned sideways and coming down there, and then decide, and I don't know where she's going. It's interesting. Little cub's curious too, wants to know where she's going. James, you say maybe Tingana's warming up for his last minute appearance. You never know, possibly. So that's interesting that she's walking away with the kill. I don't understand this. I don't know why she's doing that, everyone. I've got no idea. Very, very interesting. Now, I think with her moving off, you know what, we've got some time. We got to see her come down that tree. We've had such a wonderful sighting. So we've had a wonderful sighting of them. I think, you know what, the little cub's left alone now. Let's give it its space. Don't want to disturb it too much with the mother not being here. Shadow's moved off, so she's basically made our minds up for us. We're going to go and have a look and see if we can try find that leopard that's calling. What an incredible sighting. That was so enjoyable. I really enjoyed this afternoon spending time with these leopards. Again, very, very fortunate. I'm just got to maneuver out of here. Now, apparently the storm has hit the Mara, everyone, so you might be stuck with me for the last 15 minutes or so, which is alright. There's a lot going on. Let's see, where's our little spotlight? It's almost that awkward light at the moment, not quite dark enough for the spotlights. Where did she go? Where did she go? Oh, there she is. There she is. What? She's going up. Oh, Sorry, that happened so quickly. As we spotted her, she decided to climb up into this tree. Okay, well, we might stick around here for a while then. Oh, that's so strange. I don't know why she decided to do that. Just shows you that these animals can vary their behavior and do things that we would never even guess that they would do. Oh, she's having a seat again. She seems to be enjoying sitting in the tree. Heather, I get asked this question so often, and I don't know. You're wondering what the favorite time of the day in the bush is for me. I don't know. I like the early mornings because it's still cooler. So I'd have to say that those early mornings when it's still cooler and the animals are still moving around, I think that would have to be my favorite. But the afternoons are so beautiful too, the sunsets. Get to stop for sundowners. Oh, that is beautiful. Now you get to see her in infrared, but we've got just a beautiful silhouette of her at the moment. The tree's quite dark. So that whole tree, this big marula with her sitting in it, is very beautiful. Nice view. Oh, a lovely view of her. So I'd have to say the mornings, but the evenings, like I say, the evenings are nice too. There's always a lot going on at night. I suppose a lot of animals getting active, moving around, nocturnal animals. Speaking of the nocturnal animals, and nocturnal animal we don't get out here very often is, of course, the aardvark. And we've seen tracks of them, and we've seen them moving around, but we've seen the tracks around. We haven't seen them. The only two aardvark I've ever seen in the Sabi Sands, one was killed by a leopard and hoisted into a tree, and the other one was killed by lions and was busy being fed on. But we don't see them out here often. Tend to see them up in the Kalahari a lot, but those are the types of nocturnal animals we might be looking for, and I suppose that's reason to enjoy the nocturnal wildlife too. Now, speaking about the aardvark, Stacy was wondering, she's actually studying and going to be writing her field guide exam. The national field guide exams are coming up this weekend, so good luck to all the guides that are going to be writing this weekend. Stacy was asking about the aardvark because there's some big words with the terminology of so taxonomies in the exam, and you need to speak about the family and order and genus and species and all of that, and some of the words are quite tricky. So the aardvark order, and if you go down the list of taxonomy and the different levels that you get before you get to the species, for example, aardvark order is tubular dentata. So it's quite a tricky word. Stacey, I hope that helps. Tubular dentata. And then the family, which is an even harder word, is a Aricteropodidae. Aricteropodidae. And it's a very tricky word. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Sometimes those exam questions, what they really want to know is if you understand taxonomy and the 7 major layers of identifying animals. So it starts kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. So if you go all the way down, you'll eventually get, for example, a leopard, female leopard, genus and species, Panthera pardus. So Panthera being the genus and species being pardus. But if you go down kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species, It'll be, yeah, so all these big terminology for a Monday evening. Oh dear. Good luck with your exam, Stacey. You better pass. I've been using these big terms, so hopefully you learn something from Safari Live and you pass. You know what? I think we've had such a wonderful view and afternoon with Shadow and her cub. Why don't we leave them in peace now? And let's see, last few minutes, maybe we bump into something along the way. Riti, you asked which cat do I prefer, lion or leopard? There's a full cat in the tree next to me at the moment. I don't know, Riti. I don't know. Yeah, I'd have to say a male leopard. I don't know. There's just something about a beautiful male leopard. They're secretive. They are. They're powerful. They're agile. Oh, yeah, all of that. Male leopard, I would say. It's my favorite cat. Forgot to get the spotlight on. There we go. Let's see now. I wonder, what about a little owl? Now, Linda, you would like me to find an owl. Well, let's try our best. And Snazzy, you'd like me to find an aardvark. In the order tubular dentata. See, we've got to use massive words here from time to time. Thank goodness I took Latin at school for 2 years, believe it or not. So that helped me a little bit with the pronunciation of some of these scientific words, the Latin terminology. Can't remember any of the Latin though, unfortunately. But it's funny, sometimes I'll hear a word and I'll know more or less where it stems from. I suppose that's all it really helped with. Oh, that's a lovely cool breeze that we can feel at the moment. So what an amazing afternoon. We spent all our time with firstly finding that hyena cooling down in the dam. Then it took us straight back to where that kill was, where the leopards were, and started feeding on that kill. The little cub was very curious, came in and out. The hyena chased it once or twice. Eventually the hyena was full moved off. Female leopard came, dragged the kill back, and then took it up into the tree for us. That's a textbook afternoon safari, I suppose. Like the ideal afternoon safari. It would have been, I think my drive would have been made if we saw some elephant. That would have been the cherry on top for me. Debbie, you asked, have I seen any snakes yet? Not yet, Debbie, but it's getting warmer. So maybe soon we'll start seeing a few reptiles popping out. I hope so. Is it what I think it is? It is. Hold on. Look at this. Oh no, it's just gone back in. Let's see if I can coax it out for us. Our first one of the season. How much time do we have left? We've got a few minutes. Let me just see quickly. Oh no, this is not going to work. I'm trying to balance this torch here. Have you got it on infrared? Okay, I can't really see. I can't see. Hold on a second. I just want to see if I can coax this little guy out here. I've got a beautiful little scorpion. Oh, not so little actually. I might be a bit too shy to come out. Right at the top here, yeah. Can you see him there? You got him. Awesome. Can't see him yet. Oh. Is he coming out? Okay, hold on. Oh, do you see how quick that was? He tried to grab it. Well, I just wanted to show you that the scorpion was in there. I don't want to disturb it too much. Did you get a nice view of it, Vim? Oh, fantastic. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, there we go. There it is. Wonderful. Awesome. There we go. So how's that? First scorpion of the season, well, summer season, that I've spotted for us. Now this, I think, is the Epistocanthus asper. Tree creeping scorpion. They live in the bark of trees. There we go. Got it to come out at least. Hey, that's a nice little spot for the evening. So something different. Wonderful, nice. You can see those pincers. So these scorpions sit in these little holes in trees, and now moving into summer after the rains, they start getting more active because there are a lot of insects around at the moment. So what they do is, and why I just brushed a piece of grass on the edge of that hole, just to kind of coax him out a little bit, just to show you. But what he does is he picks up, these scorpions pick up on the vibrations, and they think it's an insect moving in front of the hole. So that's why it's sitting with the pincers open at the moment. These scorpions rely on the strength of their pincers. Now, there was an ant that crawled past there now. They rely on their pincers to grab insects. Now, after the rain, there's a lot more insects around. So anything that goes past that hole, that scorpion will be very, very quick, as you saw grabbing that piece of grass that I had. That was wonderful. Nice, eh? Look at that. Not a bad spot, eh? Stevie, thank you. You say it was an amazing spot. I learned to spot scorpions from my friend Judas. I've spoken about him many times before. The tracker I used to work with at Londolozi, he taught me how to look for scorpions at night. And it does take a bit of practice. So those scorpions, as I said, they rely on their pincers. They do have venom. And they will sting you with their tails. However, they rely more on the pincers. Now, basically two groups of scorpions, Butidae and Scorpionidae. Now, the Butidae, they've got very thick tails, small pincers, and they rely on the venom to kill their prey. Scorpionidae, they rely on the big pincers. They've got very big, powerful pincers and generally smaller tails. So they rely on the pincers. But both groups have got venom, and they can give you a nasty sting. Obviously, the Butidae ones, the venom is a lot more potent. That was a nice little surprise for the evening. Awesome, I'm happy with that. I'm so happy. Proud Cat Mama, you say it's the first time you've seen that type of scorpion. Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, anyway, that was a nice afternoon. Thingy-majig, you say I'm the scorpion whisperer. Thanks, Thingy-majig. I like your Twitter handle. And this might also be my last stint for this year on Safari Live, I think. I think with all the other presenters coming back, I don't think I'm needed anymore, so I'll probably only be back next year, maybe. Which is a bit sad. It's a bit sad, but we'll see. Probably next year again. Anyway. Let's see, who knows? Last glimpse of a leopard walking around, maybe? I doubt it. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the afternoon with us, everyone. Thank you to the team in the Mara. Hopefully they survived the storm. Thank you, of course, to Megan in final control this afternoon. And to all our viewers, VM, thank you very much on camera. We'll see you all tomorrow morning for our sunrise safari. Good night and goodbye, everyone.